how they can be. And we can see some of these little bumps that they have. Now let me play this, and I'm going to go back here a little bit as he's walking and looking at it. Here goes.
One of the technical marvels of the ancient world because of the exactness of the craftsmanship. There's clearly no mortar or cement or anything involved in its construction.
Now, you see these little bumps? We're going to see these. See them over here? This was cut from the clearest of clear tendons. This was the best of the best, but it was still wet when it was put in place and settled in. It was cut perfectly, settled in, moist, and just like putty. That's why it's all rounded around the edge. They just sort of put it in there, flatten them out nice, put another layer in, flatten them out nice as semi-soft. But all of these bumps are going to make sense to you in a second. He asked about why there's holes here and there. That is a vein. You see the black around there? Arteries. Let me go a little further here, and he's going to come up against the artery in a
Made by the
second.
Spanish. If they're made by the Inca, what kind of drill did they have to do that? And here's where we see incredible.
You see that? That's red blood. That's artery blood there. This and incredible seams. Absolutely, Brian. You're right.
Tight-fitting nature of this entire building.
Oh, there's another one. That's artery. You see the red? They were round. I mean, that's what they are. They're just like that in us. So it's time to understand what these little bumps are. Okay, this is the kind of stuff that Brian looks into, and this is body parts. And this one here is the bone and bloody bit. It's this thing blown up, and it still has some tendon and muscle, whatever. But this is the bone. Bones didn't do well, and I have no really bones in my stuff. Like this here, this was a bone. Now it's pretty good. It could be used to do something like this. If you got the good clear stuff. But like this is an eroded bone, something that they got from the inside. I don't know. But these are the really sloppy looking pieces. You want to see these ones with the bumps? This is the clear tendon. The clear tendon is what you want, because then it makes a nice wall. It's beautiful. They're the ones that I showed a minute ago in Brian's early saying how did they fit them together so well, and what are these holes and so forth. Well, the holes are blood veins and arteries, and they come out here and there, but in the tendon you almost never see them. They're in there, but very, very few. In the bones, in the marrow, and the bones and so forth, it's just saturated with it. And then whether this is tendon, I don't know. Probably is tendon. But you have your muscle, and you have your tendon, and you have your bones, and you have your flesh, and they knew what to take and where to put it. And wherever you see these bumps, I'll show you where they came from. Now these are the kind of bumps we're talking about, and they just come sticking out. And if you look at that one real close, you can see it has biology to it. You can see the center there. See that? I don't know if it's going to home in correctly, but that is a biological strap, and that strap ran over and it was attached to a ball. And what would happen is that it was the tendon mat. I'm going to show you one in an autopsy, which was a damaged one, because normally the strap runs over to a ball that's locked in. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned it, but as far as I can determine, this must have been a test wall, so they could determine whether they should scrape them or break them down to which ones leave the bumps or what they did. I see no other purpose for this. All right, this is the tendon balls, and they're all over the earth. They break off quite easily from the straps, and the straps break off quite easily from the mats. But the mat is tough as hell. These are the perfect pieces that they wanted. This is the nice, flat, moldable, absolutely gorgeous stuff to work with. And they did some craftsmanship that was just phenomenal. But this is where they break them right off here. Remember the one I showed you? You could see there was like a little vascular network going into it, like a tubing. Well, that's what it is. It breaks it off. And that tubing ran down to service that ball. And that ball was implanted right there in the tissue or the muscle or the bone or whatever it was attached to. But these balls are all over the earth. And these straps in Utah Arches National Park, there's one that runs right across. And if you look at it close, you'll see the ball attached to the bottom of it, and it is enormous. Just so you understand, these are tendon fibers. And these are the tiniest little bits and pieces of the fibers way down here. You see they're packaged up in little packages. You see them around? This is tough stuff. And they break flat like a pancake. They're called abrupt transitions. And I see them in my stuff, and that's what the Devil's Tower is, another abrupt transition. And where they break, there'll usually be what they call a wrinkle zone. Because tendons are always under tension. They're pulling against your, that's just their nature. When you snap them, they just snap like a rubber band. But the top edge of it turns to a wrinkle. If you look at Devil's Tower, you'll see a wrinkle at the top, and you'll see all these tendon fibers. All right, so here's Brian again. They're looking at these holes that are, they're looking inside, and they're seeing these straight lines that are running down through them, and they're saying, what the heck could that be? And they're seeing all these little groovy looking lines around. Well, what could cut and still make a straight line like that? It just doesn't make any sense. Well, it does if you understand biology. You see this right here? I'm going to show you something that is biology, and it's the same. Now, if you could see these little tiny holes all over the place, these little bitty tiny holes, well, what is that all about? Can you see that? I don't know if you can or not. I'll point out a few of them. Hold on, where's my pointer? All right. That's a hole right there. The hole. They're all over here, holes everywhere. Now, see them up in here? They're everywhere. Every single place has them. What's that all about? And what are these lines going down there? Well, I'm going to tell you something. From what I have found, this is all biological. This is biological. And that, I'm almost certain, was a blood vessel. I showed you the other blood vessel holes. Now let's go look at one that's on outer space that's also on a piece of biology. Okay, I told you I'd show you a blood vessel. There's one right there. It's out in space on Comet 67P. 40 meters wide is this big. So we're talking 120 or so. That's 360 feet approximately. Now this this is on Comet 67P. That shoots out blood gases, and the astronauts say their suits smell like steak when they come in from a walk, and it's like burning metal and steak, because all blood is metals. Virtually all metals, iron, and then all of these metals are in their blood, and that's what they're smelling when they come in from a walk. They just gas off. There's not enough to combust them, and there's not enough oxygen out there to combust like a burning, but they sizzle off just like they would on your grill. All right, this is a tendon emplacement. That is an artery shooting gases out, and I think it was the one I just showed you, that huge one. These are the little ones around. These are like vascular little blood vessels that service the tissues. There's blood everywhere. It's everywhere in your body. These shooting out from other blood vessels. They're not just blowing dust off. They're boiling gases out of these blood vessels. I show this extremely clearly. I'm going to link you to the video. This is the ball that locks in some form of tissue. This is a bundle of muscle. These are the tendon fibers that break off, and this is the eroded skin cell, the blood cells and so forth. That on Earth that would turn into clay and mud. And these are the little pinchy bundles of muscle. That is a bundle of muscle that would run up to something. And these are the tendon fibers. That's the anchor. all organic biological elements on Comet 67P. It's exactly what you would expect to find in a creature. Iron oxides, which is nothing more than blood with oxygen and deoxygenated. Hydrocarbons, methanes, gases, salts, silicon, carbon. I mean, that's what we are, and that's what it is. And it was alive at one time. Don't point fingers at me, because I cannot point fingers back and tell you exactly how this all occurred. All I can say is, if you look at the very, very ancient texts, they talk about gods and battles in the heavens, and who the hell knows what went on. But I'm telling you, it's not what we were told. There's that tendon on top of Raleigh, North Carolina. All right, there's the ball, there's where all that tendon comes up, and this would have been muscle coming up, apparently wrapping around a bone or something. All right, if you come up to Mud Fossil University, this is what are comets made of. I just put this up the other day. And this is Mud Fossil University. What are comets made of? And it shows in extreme detail every bit of it. And how, it's unmistakable. But you have to be able to look with an open mind.